hear you breathe, but I can't see if you're right here next to me. Something's wrong, wasn't it fun?
Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for coming and clicking on this video. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my statistics that got me into UC Berkeley, the University of Washington, and a bunch of other great schools. I know a lot of you guys requested that from my last college decisions reaction video, so thank you again for all the support and love, and I'm excited to share with you all the statistics, numbers, college essay advice that I might have that will, hopefully help you and aid you in this process of admissions. So a little bit about me and where my journey has taken me. Currently, I'm a second year at UC Berkeley studying business administration and data science. In today's video, I'm going to start off by talking about my GPA, and then I'll go into my AP and honors classes, as well as my standardized testing scores, and then I'll talk a little bit at the end about extracurriculars. So the main question that I get asked is, what was my GPA in high school? So I'll be talking both about my weighted and unweighted GPA. As for my weighted, that was something that my high school did not calculate for me, so that's something that I calculated manually for you guys. But for my unweighted GPA, that ended up being a 3.92 out of a 4.0, and my weighted GPA was a 4.40. For those of you that don't know, a weighted GPA is essentially any additional points added on for AP and honors coursework that you might have done in high school. So my GPA did end up being something that was in my ballpark for a lot of colleges that I was applying to. I was very happy with how it turned out, and I think it was definitely an addition that was positive to my college applications. What I think a grade point average shows to universities is just that you're willing to put in hard work throughout your 4 years of high school. It's something that you're consistently working on and developing, and you're taking classes that challenge you and excite you. I found that that was the most effective way for me to earn the grades that I did in high school. Moving right along, I wanted to talk a little bit about the AP classes that I took. I ended up taking 9, and then I took a couple honors classes as well. So just going in order, I took AP Calculus AB, AP Calculus BC, AP English Language, AP English Literature, AP Government, AP Human Geography, AP Economics, both macro and micro, AP Psychology, and AP Computer Science. But that's actually a funny story. I ended up taking only half a semester of AP Computer Science and then switching to personal finance. So I took AP exams for all of these classes except for psychology and computer science. Those were the classes that I felt most confident in, and I'll be sharing with you guys my AP scores. Starting off with the AP exams that I ended up getting a 5 on. So those were AP Calculus AB and AP Human Geography. So those were definitely some of my favorite classes in high school. I think I learned the most, absorbed the most material, and I think that really reflected it in my exams. For all the exams that I got a 4 on, that ended up being AP English Language, AP English Literature, and AP Macro and Microeconomics. These were classes that I really thoroughly enjoyed. I think my teachers did an amazing job really making sure I understood concepts. Now getting into the 3s, so I got a 3 on AP Calculus BC and AP English Literature. So I definitely think that that was a growing process for me. I'm very happy with a 3, don't get me wrong, but it was a little bit challenging for me. I took most of these classes in my senior year, and that is when the senioritis starts to kick in and you don't necessarily want to give as much to AP exams in school. But still, I'm very proud of the scores that I earned overall on my AP exams. I think studying for AP exams and just getting through an AP class itself is an achievement, so everybody should be super proud of that. And as for, I do think that all my colleges saw all of my AP exams, so that is something that I chose to submit. So my high school had the option of taking a lot of honors classes in freshman and sophomore year before I began AP curriculum, and so for those I took a lot of honors English and a lot of honors history classes that really built up the rigor that would be needed in AP curriculum. So I want to take this time to talk a little bit about my switch from AP Computer Science to personal finance that I did in the middle of my junior year. I thought this was a great time to put it in because I definitely think that there's not a lot of emphasis put on how tough and demanding AP class curriculum can be, and how sometimes people just take classes because they want to list them on their transcript, which, while reasonable, often leaves you kind of feeling a little dead inside and doesn't really make it fun for your high school experience. And so with AP Computer Science, that was a class that I was initially very interested in and excited to take, and I thought that the class was run pretty well, but I didn't really engage with the material that much. And so in the middle of the year, I ended up actually switching to personal finance because right then and there I was developing my interest in finance and I wanted to explore that more. So while it wasn't an AP class, I do think that that switch was appropriate, and I actually ended up learning a lot. And personal finance was one of my favorite classes at Muskaan High School. Alright, let's talk about some standardized testing. So I ended up taking in the SAT. So a lot of people know that you can either take the SAT or the ACT when you're applying for standardized testing. And again, this was I think it's pretty much the same as it was back in 2018 when I was doing these exams, but first of all, I took the diagnostic test between the SAT and the ACT to determine, which one better fit me and my test taking style, and that ended up being the SAT for me. So I did not submit any ACT scores to colleges. I ended up only submitting my SAT score. So the first time I took the SAT, I ended up getting a 1300, which was not what I wanted. I didn't think that that was the best I could do, and I really wanted to push myself more. And so after a lot of academic prep and hard work, I ended up retaking it again for the second time, and I got a 1420. And this was the score that I stuck with and applied to all of my colleges with. So a lot of you guys might be familiar with the process of super scoring, but I actually did not end up doing that. I ended up getting a 740 on math and a 680 on reading altogether because my math score was higher and reading score was higher altogether. On the second time I took the ACT, I ended up not getting that super score advantage. And I also, for those wondering, got a 19 on my essay. The essay writing part, that is optional, but I highly recommend it for you guys to get that writing experience. I do think that, writing those essays that actually helped me a lot in my timed essays in college. So pro tip, definitely take the optional part in the essay writing process for the SAT. So then in late October of 2018, I also decided to take the SAT math subject test. It was one of my last minute decisions actually. I ended up taking it after I got deferred from Penn, and I thought it was the best decision for me to actually end up taking a subject test and submit that. So for my Math 2 subject score, I ended up getting a 760 out of 800. It was something that I ended up doing last minute, so I'm pretty happy with the score that I got. But if I had more time, I probably would have retaken that, try to get that 800, but 760 still was something that I was happy about, and I think that it played a little bit of an advantage to me when I was applying to more schools later in the year. So as for my overall standardized testing experience and reflection now looking back on it after 2 years, I definitely think that when I was kind of considering everything as a whole, I thought my standardized testing scores had held me back. I knew a lot of kids that, were aiming for Ivy Leagues and a lot of top tier schools with higher scores up in the 1500s area for SATs, and that was not something that I was there at, but I do think that still with my 1420, it got me really far, and I'm really happy with what I ended up with. So definitely don't think too much into your SAT standardized testing score. I know a lot of colleges are now making that optional, so if that's the right path for you, definitely consider it. Alright, so moving right along to my favorite topic to talk about, which is extracurricular activities. I think by far extracurricular activities speak volumes to colleges. They really showcase, the fun things that you like to do in high school, the things that, matter to you, and what you're really investing your time into. And a lot of my activities in high school ended up making the experience what it is. So again, like what I talked about, grades, super important, definitely play a factor into your admissions. I think colleges do really value the other time you spend, your free time, how you like to have fun. So I will be talking a little bit about a couple of the extracurricular activities that I did and what I've learned from them. Starting off, I wanted to talk about DECA. I did DECA for all 4 years of high school. So for those of you that don't know, DECA is an international business organization, really focuses on building high school students up to, prepare them for the real world, any business careers that they might be interested in. It definitely really got me interested in the gate before business, and I do think that that's what's inspired me to pursue business in college eventually. So in high school, I was Issachar DECA chapter vice president, and I was the treasurer the year before. Both great experiences. I learned so much about leadership, about handling finances, about working in a team dynamic. It was really a great experience. I think DECA taught me the value of competition and making friends, and I met some of my best friends through DECA. I really had such an amazing competitive journey. One of my highlights of my high school experience and an honors and activity that I listed on my college application was that I ended up placing second in the world with my partner Grace in the finance operations research category. So that was an amazing moment, and I think that through the hard work of building a business plan, I really understood the value in business and how far you can actually get. Some other activities that I did was I was part of Issachar dance team for 3 years. My dance and drill team actually ended up making it to state a lot of times, and we went to nationals, which is a great experience. I think that I don't play any other sports, so dance was really the right pathway for me. I started off doing studio dance at a young age, So joining ISCO dance team was a great experience, performing at local parades and everything, and also going to high schools to compete. It really prepped me well for college dance as well. So in my junior and senior year of high school, I actually ended up getting some summer internships with local startups and nonprofit consulting firms. So the first one was Katie Hall Foundation, which is a local nonprofit in the Seattle area that really focused on building economic empowerment in women and providing younger women with opportunities. And so my experience with Katie Hall Foundation was amazing. I ended up being the first high school ambassador to join their team, which was awesome. I really got to learn the value of putting on a big event for people. We ended up hosting a conference that I got to speak at and really get that experience. I think that colleges really valued the fact that I was willing to put myself out there. I was one of the first people that they hired that was, younger than collegiate level. And so just getting my foot in the door in this nonprofit organization was awesome. And up until last year, actually, I was a nonprofit board member, so that was great. Just getting that experience working with really, really amazing, powerful women. The second internship that I did was with Financial Beginnings, which is a financial literacy startup. And they really focused a lot on holding workshops all over Washington State and building financial literacy curriculum standards to implement into school curriculum, which was awesome. I think that financial literacy is something that I'm really passionate about and something that I spoke on in my college applications. So this internship really complemented that. I got to work in with amazing small group of people, learn the value of startup culture, and just really interact and get to make my own literacy curriculum, which was awesome. So if you guys have watched my previous video, I ended up applying to 27 universities, which is a lot of universities. So the essays range from a lot of diversity essays to why us, and obviously the personal statement, the most daunting one of all. And so I can do an entire video on essay advice and reading my Common App and UC essays if that's something that's interesting you. But definitely with essays, I would say the number one thing is be yourself, be genuine, and don't let your voice get shadowed or not heard, because colleges, they love when students are genuine and they, your voice really showcases in your essays. So my personal statement ended up being a lot about chivalry, which is an interesting topic to me. I actually proposed a view that chivalry is not dead, which falls under the Common App prompt of describe something that, questions the status quo. And so yeah, I think that the chivalry essay was one of my favorites to write. It ended up being my personal statement. It didn't start off as that, but ended up being that because it really showcased my voice and how much I really valued helping people and the social impact aspect of my high school experience. So that's it from me today. Thank you again so much for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed today's video and learning a little bit more about me and my admissions journey. Again, I really want to stress how, this time is really for you to figure out who you are and what your voice is. So there's no right or wrong statistics and activities to do. Do the things that make you feel passionate about, what you want to get involved in the future, and really showcase that to colleges. I'm really hoping to upload a lot more content with admissions and also just college in general, my life at UC Berkeley. So please give this video a thumbs up and let me know what you want to see next. Thank you guys so much, and yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.